You will know from our previous videos that Neil Rademeyer is the director of the Harry Oppenheimer Diamond Training School, and he is going to guide us through the polishing process once the stone has been sawn and bruted.
Let's have a look at the tools that's being used in the manufacturing process, and let's start off with the main one, which is the tongue. A lot of the words that you will encounter in the diamond manufacturing and processing is words that derive from Old Flemish and Dutch words. So the first tongue we will be looking at is the table tongue. That is the tongue that is used to make the table on the stone. It's a very simple tongue. It's got a pot which we put in the top here, which gets filled with a cement, and we place the stone into the pot at an angle at which we want to do the table. We have some adjustment on these facet screws where we can move it backwards and forwards and side to side. This is one type of table tongue. This is the table tongue that we use. Obviously, there is some other models available as well. This is a bottom tongue that is used to polish all the bottom facets onto a diamond. There's a few things that we can look at here. We've got an angle screw that can be adjusted with this facet screw that's over here. This is to adjust the stone to the correct angles, which is internationally accepted for making bottoms. On this side we have a facet screw to actually turn the stone from left to right. And at the top here we have a click ring, which they call a click ring. And every color on this click ring actually represents a different facet on the bottom of the tongue. After looking at the bottom tongue, we're going to have a look at the top tongue. Now, there's only two main differences between the top and the bottom. The adjustments stay the same, the click rings stay the same. The main thing is we added this claw holder and we're using a different pot. One of the other main tongues that are being used is a girdle faceting tongue. Now this specific model has an arc with a specific amount of clicks, or which will end up as a specific amount of facets that will be put onto the girdle of the stone. Girdle faceting is done a lot on your higher color stones because it can increase the color grading. And if a stone has bearding on it because of the bruting process, a lot of the times to remove that bearding, girdle faceting has been a good alternative. To achieve the international standard of 57 or 58 facets for a round brilliant stone, these three tongues are the main tongues that we use. If we have a 57 facets, it's stones which we have a sharp culet, but if we want to protect the culet, we will put a small little facet on the culet and that will give it the 58 facets, which is also accepted internationally. A skive is a disc that is made from cast iron, and the reason that we use cast iron is because the structure of it is very porous, and we can apply some diamond powder to it that will then impregnate into the pores which we need to polish a diamond. So before we can start using a skive, it needs to go for preparation. That is a process where it will be lathed flat. We need to have it 100% flat, and then you can have it sandblasted, which is done to this specific skive. That is one process that can be used. And then the other process that we use is what we call blackening. It's an electroplating process where the diamond powder is impregnated into the skive through this chemical process. And the reason why it needs to be impregnated with diamond powder is diamond can only be polished with another diamond. So we use that powder as on the skives to actually polish the stones. Okay, so what we're going to do with the skive, before we can start using it, we need to prepare it, and we're going to start preparing it by adding some diamond or powder to the skive. We usually use about 1 carat of diamond powder per skive, and it's a very manual process. We are evenly spreading the diamond powder over the surface of the skive. So once we've spread the diamond powder evenly over the surface of the skive, we will start applying a bonding liquid to actually bond the diamond powder to the skive. As you can see, this is a very manual process, but this process can also be automated and done by some machinery. The next phase in preparing your skive is to actually work it in, which we call it, or burning the skive in. We use a very manual process of working in the skive. This can be done either by using a industrial or bored diamond. Yeah, with us we have a synthetic diamond stick that we use for this process, as you can see, and this will then be placed onto the skive, and we will start working in or burning in the skive to prepare it for the polishing process. The skive is broken up into 3 sections. We have a polishing section, a zooting section, and a test section. The test section is when we start polishing to see that we're on the right grain and that we do not damage the skive. Then we have the polishing section at the outside where the bulk of the material will be removed, and then the center section, which we call the zooting section, is where we will do our final polish of the diamond. Before we start using a bench, we need to make sure that everything is level. On our specific bench that we use here, we've got a tongue plate and we have the skive and the tabletop. Everything needs to be 100% level. A different model of a bench would be a bench where we work directly off the top. There's no difference, it's just a preference for the polisher that uses the bench. It is absolutely critical that everything is 100% level. This will allow us to achieve the industry standard of a triple excellent make stone. Now we're going to look at how to polish a table onto a diamond gemstone once it has been sawn. We're going to select a tongue, a table tongue. They call this a table tongue. You get different models of this, but the mechanism on all of them are very similar. So we're going to use this table tongue. We will go and measure our stone and select a pot, which we call a table pot. The stone needs to fit into this pot quite snug. So on the side of the pot we will have a number to indicate the size. It's a 22, so this should indicate that it's a 22 millimeter pot diameter from side to side. For today's demonstration, we're going to use a model of a diamond, so it's easier for you guys to see. And now we're going to explain to you step by step how to set the stone into the tongue and ready for polishing. To polish the table onto a diamond gemstone, we select the tongue, the table tongue. We make sure that it has been set up and leveled. Then we select the pot, or take the pot that we have selected for this. We place it into the dop and we secure it with an Allen or hex key. While we're securing it, we need to make sure that it is properly secured so the pot does not move around when we start processing. Then we will place some table cement into it, place a generous amount of table cement into the pot. Take the stone, we place it into a pot and push it down. Once it is into the pot, to make sure that it is flat, we will turn the around onto the desk and press down onto it and make sure that the stone is 100% secure in it. Then we will place it onto the sleigh and onto the skive. Once the stone touches the skive, it heats up, and that will heat up the cement, and that makes it actually hold the stone for this process. We're going to look at polishing the bottom facets of a round brilliant diamond. For that, there's a few processes that needs to be done before we get there, and some tools that is needed. First of all, we need to have a bottom tongue, one like this. Then we would have some collars. There's 3 different collars depending on the pots that we are going to use. If we're going to use a percentage pot, we will use this middle one, which is the number is 8.6. That means that the outside diameter of the collar is 8 millimeter, the inside diameter of the collar is a 6 millimeter, because that is the size of the pot. Then we would need some press pots. It's a pot that has slits cut into it, and it has a taper. So once I put it into the collar, then It closes the slits and it grabs onto the girdle. This will then be set into the grab jaw of the tongue, and this will hold the stone in place. Secondly, we need some wire brushes. This is to clean the pots of any debris. We would need a vernier so we can measure the diameter so we can select the correct pot. And then we have a press that we would use to actually press the stone into the collar to make sure that it's securely in there and holding the stone onto its girdle. Firstly, we need to have the stone bruted in a round shape to create a girdle so the pots can grab onto the girdle. Then the stone would be marked by the planner on a planing machine with a girdle line on the correct depth or height of the crown that needs to be left when polishing. Step 3 is press pot selection. The diamond's girdle is measured with a vernier to determine the correct diameter of the press pot required. The depth of the pot would be determined by the planner that would have given you a printout of the planned stone. Step 4 would be cleaning the diamond. The table of the diamond is cleaned with an emery stick to remove any debris from the bruting process. Step 5 is cleaning the press pot. Using a wire brush or a thin blade, it is used to remove any shavings or debris from the press pot, including the grooves and the slits. Step 6. The clean diamond is carefully placed into the chosen press pot, ensuring that the table is flat against the platform and that the naturals are visible through the slits in the pot. Step 7. The press pot containing the diamond is inserted into the collar. Once it has been inserted and pressed down, it will be examined again to make sure that the diamond has not moved. Step 8. Once we are happy that the stone has not moved, we will move over to a hand press. A hand press is used to gently and perpendicularly press the press pot into the collar. Care is taken not to apply excessive pressure, which could damage the diamond or the pot. Step 9 is just a verification process. The set stone is checked with a loop to ensure that it is set correctly and level and that all the naturals are visible. Step 10, now we're ready for polishing. The diamond secured in the press pot and the collar is now ready to be placed into the bottom tongue, into the grab jaw. The stone is placed into the grab jaw. We use a height adjuster to get the correct height. The grab jaw is tightened. Once the polishing process has been completed, we go to step 11, removing the stone from the press pot. We will take the press pot to the hand press with a pin and gently press down onto the press pot to push it back into the collar. Once it's been pressed out, you can remove the brass holder and the diamond would be at the bottom on the plate of the press. Once the diamond has been removed from the press pot, step 12 is an inspection process. The polished diamond is inspected for any non-conformities, any defects or damages, and if any, it should be reported to management immediately. Now we're going to look at setting up a stone for top processing or top polishing. We will use a top tongue. This specific top tongue has a spring-loaded claw holder with a cobalt claw. We'll open the claw, put the stone and the pot in there and press down. The spring will then push down on the table to hold the stone in place in the pot. We will also have a top pot. These pots come in different materials. You can get them in stainless steel, mild steel, or copper or bronze. They have 16 or 8 slits depending on the process that you are busy with. It's to line up the ribs with the slits, so it's for easy reference to see that your stone hasn't moved and to make sure that it's still level. Step 1 would be pot selection. We would take a vernier and we will measure the diameter of the diamond so we can select the correct pot. Once we have selected the correct size and pot, we would want to clean it with a wire brush to make sure that it's free of any debris and dirt, to make sure the stone seats properly. Step 3 is to make sure that we have selected the correct size pot by placing the diamond into the pot and using your loop to see that all the necessary markings and naturals are still visible.
Step
Step 4 would be setting up the correct size pot in the top tongue. Firstly, we place the top pot into the collar of the tongue. We tighten the grab jaw and to make sure that the pot is secure. Then we will place the diamond into the pot. We will then lower the claw holder and claw gently onto the table of the diamond to hold the stone in place. Step 5 is inspecting, once the stone has been placed in the pot, that all the ribs and the slits align, and if they do not align, adjustments can be made. So we're going to look at how stones traditionally was manufactured. You would get your stone and you would add your 4 bottom facets. Then you would add our 4 top facets. This is to make sure that everything aligns. The stone will then go back and we will add an additional 4 facets at the bottom, and we will add an additional 4 facets at the top. This will give us a stone that ends up with 17 facets that include the table that has been polished. Then this is done by a cross worker. The stone is then passed on to the brilliantier that would add an additional 40 facets to the top and bottom. That gives us 57 facets, which is an internationally accepted round brilliant diamond. This is the traditional way that stones have been polished, but in recent times technology has changed that and the processing is a bit different. This process we will discuss in our next video.